What's up, y'all? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well, and wanted to do a fun video today. There's a lot of stuff going on in Marvel Strike Force right now, but wanted to do something that's a little bit more fun and talk about top utility characters in Marvel Strike Force. I did this video, I think maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and talked about some of the characters that just have multifaceted kits, right, that can help your team to victory. Some of them are some of the top tier echelon characters, but then some of them as well are characters that maybe you don't have at high gear tiers, but definitely do still provide some solid value for your roster. So we're going to be going through that here in this video. Should be fun, guys. But before we get into it, here's a quick word from my sponsor. All right, guys, today's video is sponsored by Amazon Coins. Now, if you're not familiar with Amazon Coins, it is a in-game virtual currency that you can use for your mobile games to make in-game purchases here. That's one of the ways that I'm able to save up to 18%, but you could even save up to 20% off your in-game purchases. Of course, you guys know I love to play Marvel Strike Force, and that's usually what I use Amazon Coins for. You can see a little bit of the breakdown here in regards to what you spend or how much you're going to be able to save, I should say. So 10,000 Amazon Coins is the equivalent of you spending $82. And that's going to give you an in-game value here of $1,000. So that's usually what I actually grab every single month. It's actually a really good way as well to budget and to make sure that you're kind of sticking to a budget every month in regards to what you're spending here. So usually every month or every 2 months or so, I'll go and I'll grab 10,000 Amazon coins for $82, right? So saving $18 there, and I'm able to use that in game. You can check out all the other packs too and see what the prices are. Obviously, the higher the pack that you do buy, if you buy the 50,000 coins, you're going to spend $400, but you're going to get a $500 in-game value. Now, click on the link down below in the description. We'll give you instructions that you need in order for you to be able to, or this will bring you to this page, and we'll give you the instructions that you need in order to be able to take advantage of Amazon Coins. Keep in mind, this is only available on Android devices, and it's only available in certain areas of the world as well. But like I said, really good opportunity here to save some money. So click on the link. That also supports the channel as well. If you're re-upping your Amazon coins or using it for the first time, click on the link, buy your packs through there, guys, and happy spending. And let's get into the video. All right, y'all, welcome back. Like I said, we're going to be doing the top 10 utility characters here in Marvel Strike Force. I do want to put out a little bit of a disclaimer, though. Some of the characters I did that are, you could probably consider to be on this list, I did leave them out, and it's because we talk about them so much. We know that there are great characters like Morgan Le Fay, like Cersei, like Zemo, like Doom. They have good utility kits, but I wanted to take them off of this list because I feel like we talk about them enough, and I wanted to make some space here for some characters that maybe we don't talk about as often in videos like this, top 10 videos. So that's the reason why I did that. But you could probably say the same about Captain Sam, but we're gonna go through this list here. This is gonna be in no particular order. And like I said, I didn't say this yet, but we're also going to go through some honorable mentions later on this list too. But the first character I wanted to talk about was Captain America Sam. And yeah, I mean, he got to make this list, right? He's a great utility character. With his ultimate ability, you're going to be getting that speed bar fill to all the other allies that are on his team. He also can give defense up with a special ability, can also grant ability energy as well to other allies, so that becomes incredibly useful. There is like some sneaky good synergy between him and also Shuri, because whenever he applies defense up to Shuri, then Shuri gains ability energy. So I've actually found some fun comps using Secret Avengers with Shuri recently that I've really actually enjoyed. But yes, given the ability energy, definitely is something that's needed, and also the defense up. The 3 deflect, the 3 counters. So I like the counters because if you have the skirmisher ISO on him, whenever he does counter, then he's going to also be able to apply the vulnerable to that target that does attack. So it's actually really nice to be able to use that in raids where you're using Sharon Carter to then reduce the speed bar of the enemy characters with her basic ability. So I definitely do like the counter on him as well. He's super tanky too, right? So really kind of hard to break down. Special ability can also clear positive effects too. So then you have that dispel with the basics. So there's a lot of things that Captain America Sam can provide in terms of value to any team that you place him on. So definitely makes this list. Use him in raids, use him in war, tower, Dark Dimension. There's so many different Cosmic Crucibles, so many different areas where you can use Captain Sam. You're primarily going to use him with the other Secret Avengers, but definitely for me as a utility kit character, definitely does make this list. All right, the next character on this list for me is Emma Frost, and a lot of people like Emma Frost because of her passive ability, right? The negative 10% speed bar to all enemies, but there's so much more that Emma does. It's for a team that's not just tied towards her passive, but of course that's one of the prominent reasons why people do use her. But her ultimate ability can clear all positive effects from all enemies, can apply blind to the primary target. So I like to use this a lot actually against Morgan Le Fay. In Arena, I like to use Emma against the Darkhold team. Primarily, I like to use the ultimate ability to mind control the two enemies, to then do some damage to that primary target, which enables me to sometimes delete Morgan or to delete Doctor Strange Heartless, depending on who I'm trying to get rid of, or Agatha, right? It all depends, but usually this comes in incredibly handy because you're mind controlling the two enemy or allied characters with the most damage to attack the primary target, and they gain additional damage, 40% damage for this attack as well. So for me, that becomes incredibly useful. The special ability can clear negative effects from self and all allies. All negative effects from self and all allies, can apply slow to every enemy as well. Basic also has a dispel, so she can either flip 2 positive effects if she's not charged. If she is charging, she can clear 2 positive effects. Either way, you're getting rid of those positive effects, so she becomes quite useful. And she's used in every single game mode in Marvel Strike Force, literally every single game mode in Marvel Strike Force. She's used in Arena. She's using raids because you can use her for your Greek raids or for your mutant Doom raids, right? The boss node is where you're going to use her. You're not going to use her for the first 2 nodes, really using her for the boss node, but she's still used for those Doom raids. You can use her in war, offense, or defense, Dark Dimension, Cosmic Crucible, Tower. Pocket Dimension may be the only exception to the rule in regards to where you don't use her. I just think it's really impressive that an individual character like her can find multi-usage. So therefore, she definitely makes this list as a character on this list for me. Next character is Shang-Chi. Yeah, he has some insane damage, but he also has a pretty solid utility kit as well. So ultimate ability, yes, crazy damage, 450% damage, plus 75% additional damage per positive effect. Cool, that's great, but it also reduces the speed bar of all enemies by 10%, right? Like that definitely does help. It's not 20%, it's not 25% like some other characters do, but I still do think that it can give you a little bit of a speed advantage in a matchup. Special ability also applies heals, not just to Heroes for Hire allies, but also allies that are other allies that are a part of his team as well. So yes, of course, for Heroes for Hire allies, you're getting 50% health that he's going to be healing for. But for other characters too, the 10% healing could definitely be useful. Also can clear 1 negative effect from all of the other allies too. So yes, he will clear all negative effects from Heroes for Hire, but you can still get that 1 negative effect cleared if when Shang-Chi uses a special. He also speeds himself up or gives him a speed bar fill, right, by 50%. And because of his low cooldowns, this does become impactful, right? Because then you're going to be able to get to his ultimate faster because his ultimate is only a 3-turn cooldown. So if you're filling that speed bar, you're going to get him to pop off a little bit quicker. His basic ability can apply slow, if depending on how you're using him. So when this character performs a counterattack or assist, if the target has any negative effects other than slow, then he can repeat that attack. So he does this. I use him with Young Avengers and Cosmic Crucible. And whenever he does get an assist from Miss Marvel, if they have any other negative effects, which they can apply, right? Then he's going to be able to repeat this attack. So you're going to get more damage and then you're going to get a slow that's going to be thrown out there as well, right? So yeah, I mean, I like him as a utility character, used in multiple areas of the game as well. All right, next character on this list for me is Dr. Octopus. And while he's not, from an endgame perspective, he's not used as much, still a usable character in the game and still will provide value for a lot of players who choose to invest into Doc Ock, in my opinion. Maybe not one of your prevalent sought after investments, but if you've already built him up, you're still going to find some solid utility. Now, a lot of people do like him because of his passive And they talk about this a lot, right? The 10,000% resistance against offense down that he gives to other allies that are a part of his team. But I like him because of the passive ability that also applies 1 deflect and 1 speed up to a maximum of 5 to self and all adjacent allies. So this comes incredibly helpful as well, depending on the placement of your team. I like his ultimate because he can flip 2 positive effects to negative effects. He has a pretty solid health pool, so with the healer ISO, whenever he takes a turn, he can do a decent amount of healing. He gives regeneration with his special ability, but then the basic also can apply a slow for 2 turns to a primary target. So for me, like, while he's not necessarily a character that's used as much in the Doomray content anymore, I know a lot of players are still using him, and a lot of players probably do want to build him up. Maybe he's not necessarily a must-have build anymore, but I still think that you can find some solid value out of him there. So therefore, I still wanted to put him on this list for that reason, because I still think that you can find some areas to use Doc Ock. All right, the next character on this list, always for me, is one of the top utility characters in the game, is Shuri. And usually whenever I started talking about Shuri in previous content, it's usually always, well, her health pool is not that great, but she got a boost her health pool now, right? So that increase, essentially it's like 90% outside of raids in terms of her health pool is what she was able to get there. But now her passive ability, because she can apply the deflects, and she can also, because she can apply the deflects now, when an ally drops below 50%, she can apply these 3 deflects to that character. Now that she can do that outside of raids, it makes her a lot better or more useful and a better plug and play character for other teams. Still like her special, right? Applying the defense up, and then you're also getting, she can also give ability energy, generate ability energy. Slow down, Goofy, right? Generate ability energy for 2 random allies. That is, of course, impactful. Her health pool now being better whenever she does do her healing ability with her ultimate. That healing is a little bit more impactful because it is based on her max health. So for me, yes, Shuri definitely does make this list as a top utility character as well. All right, next character on this list is a newcomer. I didn't talk about this character the last time, but a lot of you guys know that she is one of my favorite Marvel characters ever, and that is Squirrel Girl. She's definitely risen up as probably one of the better characters to invest in. I don't know if she's a top 10 character, but she's definitely, in my opinion, a top utility character in Marvel Strike Force. I've always liked her healing, her special ability, low cooldown, that provides solid healing. Yes, heal all young Avenger allies that are under 50% or 15%, but she can also heal all allies for additional 15% of her max health. She has a pretty decent health pool. She can also clear all negative effects from other allies as well. And then she'll also call the ally with the highest damage to attack the primary target. So I think all of her attacks now would at least provide some sort of damage to your team. Her ultimate ability, always liked it for the offense down. The heal block is a nice little touch that you can add to that as well, but the offense down, I think, always provided some solid value there. Her basic ability can also apply offense down. It is a 50% chance to apply offense down. But the thing is that she's always going to attack the enemy with the most speed bar for 210% damage. So therefore, that could definitely provide some solid value. Did I talk about her little cooldowns? Like her little cooldown on her special as well. She can pop this off quite often. If you're like, hey, I'm just gonna burst down Squirrel Girl and get her to low health because I just want to get rid of her. Well, she speeds up when she gets below a certain level of health as well, which then or increases her speed bar, which then means that she can get to her turns a little bit faster. So for me, Squirrel Girl definitely gets added on this list. Probably a top character now, I think, for a lot of players to probably bring into Dark Dimension. I've heard people talk about it quite often. I'm still on the fence about it because she's expensive. I think she's like 72 mini uniques, and of course, the higher the mini uniques, also the higher I think the origin gear that you need for the character too. I don't know, she's still pretty expensive, but if you're looking at Scourge, she's definitely a character that's definitely worth investing into. So for that reason, she definitely does make this list. All right, next character on this list for me is Miles. I've been preaching Miles for a long time. I like his kit. From a utility perspective, yes, I think that he definitely does make this list. Is he one of the better characters in Marvel Strike Force? No, but that's not what this list is, right? This list is about utility characters, right? There's nothing in my, like, every time he takes a turn, he does something impactful, right? Whether it's, okay, well, he gets his turn 1 ult, you're gonna get a disrupt, or not to the primary target for 2 turns, and then also to 3 additional targets. I don't see how that could not be impactful, right? Then you have a special ability which reduces the speed bar by 50%, can apply slow, and then of course can prolong all negative effects by 1. So I mean, the reduction of speed bar by 50%, you can literally control a matchup by just being able to do that on turn 1. That's a great ability in my opinion. Basic ability can clear 3 positive effects. So even if you don't have his ult and you don't have his special available because you've already used them, hey, guess what? Now you get to clear 3 negative effects on his basic. The only caveat, I know some of you guys are going to say it, well, what if they don't have 3 positive effects to clear? Okay, fine, whatever. But still, you get the point. Like, every single one of his abilities does something that's impactful. Also, whenever he takes a turn, he's going to apply defense down. Now it's to a random target, but he's still going to be able to apply defense down. And by the way, this is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. So he's going to do it, right? So in my opinion, of course, he's great with the web warriors. As a utility character, he's great there. He's going to give them speed up whenever a web warrior ally dodges. Whenever he dodges himself, he's going to get a speed up for himself too. So that means that he can get to his abilities faster. I don't know. I just think I've always thought Miles had a great kit. Just didn't have the stats to back it up, but now he has the stats to back it up. I think he's a good character, definitely worthy of being on this list. All right, next character is Lady Deathstrike, and she is a part of the Tech Doom Raid meta right now. So therefore, yeah, and she's added onto this list because of just really one ability. It's her special. It's her special. It's a low cooldown. I just don't know how I would get through the Tech Doom Raid nodes without having Lady Deathstrike there now. Like she's so a part. She's part of the big 4 now, right? So if going into these Tech Doom raids, it's Shuri, it's Doom, it's Kestrel, and Lady Deathstrike. And usually that 5th character is like who you slot in as a 5th option. It's sometimes for me it's for the first node it's Nebula or it's Ghost. For the 2nd node it's Kate Bishop. For the yes, Kate Bishop is actually pretty good on the 2nd node. For the 3rd node, it's T'Challa, right? You can also even use T'Challa on pretty much all of the nodes. Like, so that could be like the best, the top 5. But I do like to keep T'Challa a little bit because I don't want him to die. Because I definitely need him for that boss node for sure. Like for sure, I need him for that boss node. But yes, there's a special ability. The reduction of speed bar by 20% is literally the only reason why she's here. But I feel like I had to put her here because it's just so impactful in every single one of those modes, whether I'm trying to slow down Captain Sam and slow down Sharon Carter, or if I'm trying to slow down Doom, or sometimes I may switch it up and I want to slow down Colleen Wing. It all depends, right? Because I may have Doom's ult and I'm not really worried about their Doom going off. Maybe I want to slow down Colleen Wing so that she doesn't do her ult, right? Whatever it is, like I've just always found this to be an impactful ability. I like using it in RTA, but she also provides some pretty solid damage to the defense down, which then of course then adds to the synergy with Kestrel. So therefore, that's also pretty good too. And she hits multi targets with this, right? So primary target and then rebounding into 3 adjacent targets. Does some pretty decent damage depending on where your stars and your red stars. I have her at 6 and 5, so she does do some pretty good damage there. Basic ability can apply some bleed. Well, sorry. Basic attack here can do some piercing damage. If they have bleed, she can repeat attack. She can apply defense down, which also synergizes with Kestrel again. So for me, definitely for as a character, she definitely gets added onto this list. Now, next 2 characters may be a little controversial, but I wanted to add them onto this list because Killmonger for me is like the ultimate tag king in MSF, right? Like there's so many areas that you can use him. Because of his skill tag, then the Wakandan tag, then the mercenary tag, then the military tag. There's so many areas that you can use Killmonger. There's Chaos Theory where you can use him. There's Payday where you can use him. There's the boot camp event where you can use him. You can use him in the Doom campaign for your 2.1 I think to Doom 2.3, right? Those first 3 nodes, you can use them there. You could use them in the Gamma Raid, the PIM and the Gamma Raids, right? You could use them there as well. If you want to even dive a little bit deeper, you can use them in the Catalyst of Change. Not Catalyst of Change, but the challenges, like the daily challenges, not your flash event, but your daily challenge. You can use them in there too if you really want to get funky. You can use them now because the team has gotten a rework, the Wakandan team. He's probably a good, decent villain option, right? Like you could use for some of your villain campaigns as well. So for me personally, I had to add him on this list. This is a character that I probably will build up a little bit because I do have some passion projects that I want to invest into, and the Wakandans probably are going to be a passion project for me. And I've seen a lot of people have some success in those gamma lanes, so definitely may consider it. Unless they introduce the sim, then I probably won't really care that much. But the team is good in Cosmic Crucible, so maybe I will consider it there. All right, the next character, Loki. Enough said about Loki, but the last time I didn't put him on this list, but he was used in the arena meta, and he's still being used right now to this very day in the arena meta, mainly because of his passive, right? So unspawn, filling the speed bar by 50%. For the Mystic Controller allies, there's so many Mystic Controller allies that are in MSF that that you can pair them up with. Cersei, Morgan Le Fay, Cloak. There's so many characters that you can mention, but you really use them again in arena for this particular reason, right? Applying the 30% resistance to all enemies. That is incredibly impactful going up against other Morgan Le Fays, because they have such high resistance. If I can reduce that resistance, give myself an opportunity here to really kind of pop off my ability block, that could be helpful. But really too, this is really what makes the impact, because I think that this has a little bit of this may have a resistance check, or there may be a check there, but he gives 20% focus also to other Mystic Controller allies. So that's my Morgan, right? So giving my Morgan the opportunity to have a boosted focus gives me more of an opportunity here to then make sure that I can land my ability block on the other Morgan Le Fay too. So he definitely makes this list. It's just because of his passive ability, but in my opinion, he definitely had to be mentioned on this list. Like I said, there were some other honorable mentions that I definitely thought about. There's Doom, there's Morgan Le Fay. There's just so much in her kit. You could even probably throw Kestra on this list too. Sharon Carter provides a lot of solid utility, even outside of her team, with the stuns, with the ability block and the slow and the defense down. In raids, you're definitely gonna have to use it with Captain Sam to get that reduction of speed bar though, but still a pretty solid character. Maria Hill, the healing, she synergizes very well with characters that get blocked, because when an ally gains block, she heals, so she synergizes pretty well with that as well. You're getting some decent damage out of her between her special and also her ultimate ability. She can clear negative effects. We already talked about some of the top tier characters, but there are even some more I probably could mention, guys. I'm curious to see what you guys also will be able to come up with in regards to this top 10 utility list. But listen, this was fun for me, man. I really enjoyed doing this list here. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on some other characters that I didn't mention, or what do you think about the list that I just went through as well. Listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel here. Hammer down on the like button, share the video, whatever it is, guys. Always appreciate your support, and always like to make some fun videos like this and get a little bit away from sort of the drama that sometimes happen in MSF, which it's kind of hard, right, to get away from the monotony and the frustration and all that stuff that happens in the game. But you know, it's cool to do some fun videos like this. Listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, y'all be blessed, y'all be safe. Woo!